Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The afterjets are quick. Count out anybody who wants it the most.
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory, this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough? Holy cow! A dominant performance.
You gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
And welcome in, folks, to another beautiful Saturday evening here, getting ready to take the green flag, just wrapping up qualifying in the Redemption iRacing Series at Portland Raceway. Tonight's race is going to be a little bit different from what we've been seeing so far this season. I'm Oscar Jensen, bringing you tonight's action along the way through tonight's race from flag to flag drop, and like I said, a little bit different from what we've seen so far this season out of these drivers. It's going to be a road course tonight, so we're going to have left-handers, we're going to have right-handers, we're going to have a lot of drivers probably not be accustomed to road course racing and might struggle a bit. We'll probably see some other guys who are really good at road courses and maybe a little bit more versatile type of portfolio when it comes to their driving style, possibly getting to the front a little bit easier and quicker than some of these other guys. So there's a lot that's probably going to be happening in tonight's race. Unfortunately, it is a little bit cloudy and muggy out in the race session, and it's not going to be super sunny. So we'll hope for that. We'll hopefully have the sun come out here at some point in this race so that we can actually get a little bit better view on these drivers. Drivers now getting able to get in their race cars, getting gridded, having their last second preparations before we take the green flag here with 50 laps tonight being the distance. Let's go ahead and go down our race analysis here. Race length 50 laps, 97 miles. Stage 1 is going to be 25 laps. Remember, we don't get a stage break. We just continue racing. And then the final stage is going to be 25 laps as well. Pit road speed 40 miles an hour. 4 sets of tires. And then our fuel window is about, I'd say, 18 to, I think, 25, 23, 22, 23 laps, somewhere in that range. I think if I'm doing my math correctly, we'll have to see on that. Let's go ahead and go down our starting lineup here while these drivers are about ready to get gridded up, or at least finish gridding up. Starting on row number 1, Xavier Regelbrugge leaving off where he left off last week with the top position. To his outside will be Joseph Smith. Row number 2 will be Landon Burbage and Christopher Stange. Row number 3 will be Aiden Lucas and John Tiller. Row number 4, we'll have Ryan Haller and Wyatt McKilson. Row number 5 will be Vincent Provenonza and Joshua Nunez to his outside. Row number 6 will be William Connolly and Cody Blackmore. Then rounding out the field in row number 7, will be Kenneth Lowry and Michael Badra. That will make up the 14-car field here tonight. And like I touched on here just a minute ago, Xavier leaving off where he left off last week with the win at Rockingham Speedway, starting on the top spot. We'll see if he can make it back-to-back here at Portland. Although he's got strong competition behind him. To his outside, he's got Joseph Smith. Behind him, Landon Burbage. Those two drivers specifically, have been running up towards the front with Xavier. So I expect all 3 of those drivers to be competing for tonight's race win. Let's go ahead and look at our weather display quick. Temp is 66 degrees out, wind not that strong, but there is at least 1 mile an hour to the south. And now, as I say that, now it's heading up to 5 miles an hour. So I lied, it's going to continue to go up. Overcast, like we mentioned, not the sunniest. Maybe possibly going to have the sun come out later. We'll see. Then track temp is 81 degrees. So a little bit cooler for track, obviously, with it being covered in some clouds here. Big name of the game tonight is going to be holding on and saving those rear tires for these race cars. You don't want to burn up those rear tires. The minute you start to use and abuse those, that's the second you're going to lose grip and you're not going to be able to get drive off. And a big part of these road courses is being able to get the power down on the exit of the corners and being able to utilize the straightaway speeds as best you can, especially here. You can kind of see in this shot, this back straightaway, we'll call it, is really quite long, and you don't want to have to be behind because of a slip up before entering this back straightaway. These drivers will head through the last few turns here. The pace car will pull off here in just a moment. Pit road is going to be on the right-hand side here, so it's a little bit different for these drivers out here in tonight's race when it comes to pit stops. Xavier Smith leading the front row. Moments away from getting the green flag. Green flag in the air. We're off and racing here from Portland Raceway. little bit of contact in the back. Some of these drivers just trying to get through turns 1 and 2 without incident. Oh, Joseph Smith with a bit of wheel hop. Looks like when getting on the brakes, he's going to get pressure from Lucas here. Car off track. I think that's Kenneth Lowry back here with a little bit of contact right there from Joshua Nunes. Actually, I think Nunes is in the 40 and Lowry is in the 35. Side by side for second place. Smith trying to get to it, but Aiden is going to get it. Ryan getting pressured for that 7th position. He lost it to Connolly there. He'll slot back in line. Back at the top spot though, Xavier going to come around to lead lap 1 here. Smith now going back to the inside for second place. He is going to be able to dive it in deep without any issues this time. We saw him have a little bit of tire lockup and wheel hop on that first lap, but he's able to get through the turn clean. Now putting a little bit of distance between him and Aiden behind. More movement going on back here. Some of these drivers just trying to figure it out. Trying to get a feel for the track, but also trying to gain some positions. Nice clean entry to 1 for Xavier. He's got Joseph Smith behind him though, and Smith not really wanting to go on a win or not wanting to go on a second place streak here. He wants to get back in victory lane. That's Landon Burbage off in the track behind him. Looks like he shot that corner just a bit wide. Christopher Staines right there, not able to really capitalize on that mistake. He's going to hold on to that 4th position. That's Landon Burbage looking to come up with a better couple of clean turns here. Set him up for this long back straightaway. Looks like Joseph is kind of keeping even with Xavier. These two right now in that 1st and 2nd position, kind of holding even lap times, even sectors for the time being. For the most part, Joseph Smith might be a little bit quicker through like the first half of this track, and then I think Xavier gets a little bit better towards the end of this track, and then it kind of settles out in between there. Although Joseph Smith, I mean, really putting a lot of pedal into it. You see that rear end step out a few times, just trying to get that power down. And like we talked about, that can hurt the car, that can hurt the drive off. The longer these races, or these race runs kind of play out, it'll definitely be something that he has to watch out for. And I haven't really noticed a whole lot of wiggle out of Xavier in this top spot. It looks like his car is pretty hooked up for the time being. These are fixed setups, so not really a whole lot of adjusting they can do. They can play with the brake bias, but that's about it. And I always found that brake bias at road courses, I mean, even going a little bit will always help out. And a little bit of a stumble there in that entry of turn 1 for Xavier allowed Smith to close up a bit. And remember, like I talked about, Joseph Smith has really been good in this first half of this racetrack, where Xavier really shines towards the last half of this racetrack. A little bit wider of a turn in there for Joseph Smith behind. Xavier kind of took it in a little bit shallow. Again, trying to just make that car as wide as possible. Smith is to get any clean air, but also just getting the best arc possible that he can possibly get back there. Smith now closing in a little bit more. We'll see what he can do here into turns 1 slash turn, a little bit of a turn 2, at least his first little turn, we'll call it. Nice clean entry there for Xavier, keeping the distance pretty much the same. And back there trying to close in as well. That last lap, Smith was just a little bit quicker, and you see him starting to close in on the back bumper of Regelbrugge. Trying to get to the back bumper, maybe trying to get him a little bit loose. Regelbrugge is going to hold it tight to defend. Smith searches wide. That rear end stepping out. You see the tire marks it left from doing that as well. And again, right there, leaving some more tire marks, trying to get in tow with Regelbrugge. Right to the back bumper, Xavier through the final turn. Will he make the move down the front straightaway? He takes a look to the inside. Not quite to the inside though, just barely at the corner. He's gonna have the preferred lane here for the right turn, but then Xavier's gonna have it. Oh, and a little bit of a slip up for Xavier. Able to hang on to it though, but that's gonna hurt him. And now Smith diving back to his outside. They're gonna be side by side for the moment. And Smith on the outside with the power move. Looks like he'll be able to get it, and maybe just goes wide just a bit. Got that back end of the car hanging out. Xavier right there in tow though, not letting Smith get too far in front. We'll see if he tries to dive it back to the inside, but right now, Smith with the top spot. Smith now able to put a little bit of a gap between him and Xavier. Xavier though remaining right there with him, about car length and a half gap between those two. Lucas right back in third place as well. He's hanging strong with the two in front of him. And I don't believe we saw him last week at Rockingham, so he missed, I believe, last week's race. Although at Texas, I think when we last saw him, again, I'm pretty sure we last saw him at Texas, it was having a pretty decent race and looking to come back and potentially contend for the win. He has definitely been hitting the same lap times as the two in front of him. He's been right in between the top two, actually. So Aiden looking to be strong here early on lap 8. Xavier using all this racetrack, a little bit of maybe wall scrapage with that right side, going down that long back straightaway. Able to keep in tow with Smith though. Dove it in deep there. We'll see if he can get the drive off. Smith pulling away just about another half a car length or so. A little bit of dirt kicked up there, but that's just typical road course racing. And you see the little difference that they had on entry right there. Joseph Smith made his car a little bit wider. Xavier chose to hold the curbing a little bit tighter and more shallow. That can really make a difference here, especially heading down this back straightaway. You see it right now. I mean, Joseph Smith is able to put maybe another extra car length and a half over Xavier for the top spot right there. This is where I feel like Xavier really shines though. These last couple of turns, he's able to close the gap back down and then hang with Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith though, I mean, has a phenomenal turn one through at least up until that last long back straightaway. Aiden Lucas looking to the inside, not going to be close enough to make a move, but he did want to maybe try and force Xavier into a mistake. And remember what I said, a big part of this type of racing at road courses is being able to hang on to those rear tires. I'm kind of interested to see what it's going to look like for Joseph Smith, a race leader, here in about maybe, say, 5 to 7 laps. We'll see if all that sliding around that he did earlier and all the tire marks that he was leaving potentially hurt that race car, or if maybe it was just him driving the heck out of it and not really giving too much care to it. Although right now, I mean, Joseph Smith continuing to just put little by little distance between him and Xavier. Aiden losing a little bit of time that last lap. A little bit of tire lockup right there as well. That's not going to be good. You don't want to lock up those front tires either. And although you don't really flat spot these tires like you may see in real life, or you know, just with any other car, you still do wear those tires down, and just like with the rear tires, you don't want to hurt those front tires either. Those will definitely cause issues for handling on these longer runs. Landon Burbridge back here in 4th position, holding strong. Landon's had a good start to this season so far. Looking to put himself in victory lane. He's been close a couple of times. He's kind of been in about this top 5 running position so far, but hasn't been able to close out any races quite yet. But I do expect we will probably see him in victory lane at least once this season. Behind him, Christopher Stange, Daytona race winner. And we kind of talked about him maybe having some momentum after that win at Daytona, but it's been a little quiet since then. I mean, he's either had a decent week or he's had some bad luck on his side and hasn't gotten the results that he may need or wants. Some of those races finishing outside the top 8 to 10 positioning, but usually, I mean, stays out of trouble. Just has been a little quiet from what we probably expected out of a race winner at Daytona. Back up at the front, Joseph Smith. Continuing to lead the way, Xavier Regelbrugge right behind has been able to remain in the same proximity of about a second or less. And actually maybe now becoming a little bit quicker than Joseph Smith. Xavier was just a little bit quicker that last lap than race leader Joseph Smith, and like we said, we'll have to see what all that sliding and moving around for this 31 did to those tires and how that could potentially affect his race car. Aiden Lucas back there in third has fallen off a little bit from these top two. Still holding strong though, no pressure from behind. All he's really got to do is just either try and find something to close on the top two or just hold his position, because right now he's sitting in a pretty decent spot in that third spot. Michael Badra in the number 37. Looks like he has pulled it off track, I believe. So an early exit to his night here for him and his team. That's going to result in a 14th place finish unless he's able to come back out on track and potentially pass somebody else who could have issues. But right now, he's going to be scored in that 14th position behind the wall. Oh, the 19 of Ryan Haller went off track there. Now it's going to open the door for Joshua Nunez in the 40 to potentially try and get a run built to pass him, but Nunez being on that outside lane, not able to get it settled in, and he's going to have to go back to work. Ryan able to get that position held off for the time being after going through the grass just a bit there. Nunez taking a look down to the inside. Oh, in trouble. Cody Blackmore. A little bit of tire lockup going into turn one. He's going to go around and maybe trying to get back going. Squeeze right there by Vincent to get to the inside and get around him. That was a really close call right there. And now Ryan able to put more distance between him and Nunez. Looks like Nunez had some issues. Ryan with a little bit of a tire lockup right there, though. And what a close call here for this 3 and the 84. Blackmore went around, maybe getting a little bit too much speed on entry there to turn one, and then locked up in and went around for a ride. Didn't collect anybody, but that could have been close. William Connolly coming down pit road. He's going to be the first taker here to make a green flag pit stop. And again, remember, these pit stops are a little bit different. It's on the right-hand side. They're going the opposite way from what we usually see, so getting into the pit box can be a little bit tricky. You got to be able to hit your box pretty close to perfect. Again, it being on the opposite side can definitely play a mind game and be a factor. I believe the 51 of Mike White McKilson just went off track there as well, giving that 7th spot to Kenneth Lowry. Coming around to lap 18 here at Portland Raceway. They'll have, I think that's William Connolly up in front, as well as Cody Blackmore potentially. Lap traffic could be a factor here, although once these two leaders pit, there will probably be a little bit of a gap again until they see some more guys. But with these guys who just came down pit road, they'll be on their tail ends. And that could also play a factor as you see Xavier starting to come back to life, starting to get those tires maybe a little bit cooled down better over Joseph Smith, who looks like he's lost a little bit of traction here. Xavier closing back down. It's now about a half a second gap between him and Joseph Smith as they come up on lap traffic. Xavier Regelbrugge. We'll see what Xavier can do here. He's been a little bit quicker these past couple of laps. Look at him just send it into those couple of turns, able to hit the curbing correctly, closing that gap just a little bit more. The 84 of Cody Blackmore going off on track right in front of race leaders. Able to get out the way though, he won't be an issue. And that might have hurt Joseph Smith's exit just a little bit. Allowed Xavier to close in just a little bit more again. Xavier a little bit better under braking right now. Smith not having the drive off that he needs. Trying to get to the back bumper to potentially loosen Smith up just a little bit. We'll see what he can do here. Oh, Smith going a little bit wide, not able to get the car turned. Trying to drive it off. Xavier's there, two's outside. They're going to be side by side here. And Xavier able to get the top spot away. Although that was a close call right there with the rumble strips. We'll see if that results in anything. I don't think it will. But Xavier able to get the top spot back away from Joseph Smith. Smith looking strong. However, not having the handling that he needs on that race car. He's going to lose a little bit of time right there off the exit. And more issues for Blackmore again. I think he went off track right there off the final turn. Oh, Smith gets in there hot, able to hang on to it. What a slide right there for Smith, and we kind of wondered what all that sliding around would do for this 31 car, and it looks like it's really been hurting him these past couple of laps. Again, more sliding with those rear tires right there. Not able to get the power down, not able to get the car turned like he needs it to be. Going down this long back straightaway, that's Vincent Provenanzo right in front. Remember, he had that close call with Blackmore. When Blackmore went around in that first turn, Vincent gonna pull off to the side, not gonna get in Xavier's way. Again, going to slow up just a bit so he doesn't hurt Joseph Smith either. Aiden Lucas falling just kind of back a little bit more, kind of steadily, not really losing a whole lot of ground, but still just been losing time to the top two, so he'll need to be able to come down pit road, get those fresh tires on this pit stop in just a few moments, and then reset himself till the rest of the conclusion of this race. ride on board with Joseph Smith here for a moment. See all the wheel that he's putting into this race car. Falling back to just over 2 seconds. Just how easy it has to be on the throttle, not trying to have more issues with the handling of this race car than he already has. Downshifts right there to try and get it help with the turning. But again, still losing time to Xavier Regelbrugge, who has that top spot currently. Xavier closing in on the back bumper of Ryan Holler. Oh, big speed difference right there. Had to check up just a little bit to not get into the back of the 19. Ryan trying to give as much room and goes off track just a bit. Able to hang on to it though, he's going to lose a little bit more ground, but didn't lose any positioning. Just a tough spot with the road courses, especially at a road course like this where it's so narrow. You don't have a lot of room to work around guys who you're trying to put down a lap, and Ryan did a good job at not causing too much trouble, or not putting too much pressure on Xavier to maybe force him into a bad move. Ryan obviously probably not wanting to go off track there, but able to keep both those race cars in one piece, and they're going to be able to continue on. And with Ryan going down a lap, it'll put 9 cars on the lead lap. Remember, we saw only a handful of cars on the lead lap at Rockingham. And who came out with the win there, you might ask? Well, Xavier Regelbrugge, our current race leader, looking to do the same thing. He's going to come up on lap traffic in the same spot. That's the 40 car of Joshua Nunez. Again, trying to work through these guys as quick as possible, but also not be too aggressive and put either one of these drivers in a bad positioning. Josh, we're going to give him the inside. Xavier having plenty of room to work with. Now, as long as Xavier's able to hang on to it, I don't think Joseph Smith will be able to get to his back bumper with just over 2.5 second gap, almost 3 seconds now, which would allow Xavier to be able to collect the stage win. Xavier looking to collect those extra points here. Those points can be so valuable, but also besides just the extra stage points that he would collect when capturing the stage win, he's also looking to get points for leading the most laps, but also the race win, and close that gap down on Smith, maybe just a little bit more. Even though they aren't separated by too much of a difference, every point definitely matters, and when you're going for a championship, it can come down to just a handful of points that could potentially be the deciding factor for a championship. So Xavier, I mean, continuing to try and build off momentum from his win at Rockingham, looking to go back-to-back here tonight at Portland Raceway, collecting the stage win. We'll see if he can finish this out. And remember, there is no stage caution for these drivers, so they will keep it going. Halfway through the race now, with 25 laps to go. Xavier capturing the stage win. Smith looks like he's going to hit pit road. Aiden Lucas as well. No mistakes are needed if you want to be able to keep in contention for this race win if you're Joseph Smith. I don't think we'll see a caution, a full course caution, unless something major happens. But right now, it's looking to go pretty green for the majority of this race. Again, still have 25 laps to go, still a lot of time left in this race for things to happen. Race leader Xavier Regelbrugge going to hit pit road this time by. The 51 in front of him, Wyatt McKilson hitting pit road as well. Landon Burbage, Ryan Haller, also hitting pit road. Now Xavier Regelbrugge going to make his way off of pit road and back to the race lead. You see Joseph Smith though coming in hot behind in that orange machine. The 51 trying to give as plenty as room as he possibly can, but Xavier able to hang on to what will be the top spot here for the time being. We'll see if Smith can use his short run speed and potentially even find some long run speed to put him in a better positioning with these last 24 laps in the race. They've put a bit of a gap between those two and third place Aiden Lucas, who is now 14 seconds behind race leader Xavier Regelbrugge. We're going to go ahead and take our first and only side-by-side commercial break here. You guys won't miss this thing though. This is the Redemption iRacing Series live from Portland Raceway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Our time. We know what we got to do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
We'll fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down.
their chips are lit. Don't count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. What a victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next lap is going to end it.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
Gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what USA? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get it. One final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Run here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Alrighty, welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Redemption iRacing Series live from Portland International Raceway. Coming around to 20 laps to go here. Current race leader Xavier Regelbrugge, excuse me, currently making it look easy out front, looking to make it 2 in a row here tonight. We'll see if he can hang on for the next 20 laps. Joseph Smith behind him, though, trying to get himself back into victory lane. And next week we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway on the Memorial Day weekend, so make sure you tune in next week. Again, Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll have 150 laps there, and I'm sure we'll probably have a great crowd on hand for that. And again, make sure if you haven't already, go check out the Turn Sector Meter website. We posted it in chat at the beginning of this race. We have been able to put together a pretty decent product for that website, and I look forward to adding more onto it as the future weeks come, and getting all these drivers on that site and being able to display and showcase each one of them. It'll be a pretty good, cool thing and neat thing to be able to do. And after each race, we try and post an article and kind of do a summary over that race, so make sure you check it out either tomorrow afternoon or Monday morning the latest, so that you can catch up and see if maybe one of your favorite drivers made the cut for the summary. Xavier Regelbrugge continuing to lead the way. And I'm trying to see what happened here. It looks like we had a few drivers who had connection issues. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened, but Joseph Smith was one of those drivers, Aiden Lucas as well. So some developing news here. Again, I'm not quite sure what was going on. If it was maybe an iRacing session issue, or if maybe a lot of drivers just unfortunately had some sort of issue at the same time. But that's going to put Xavier Regelbrugge to a 32-second, almost 33-second lead over what is now second place driver Landon Burbage. Christopher Stange is now going to take that third position as well. So at least 3 drivers look like they disconnected around the same time. Again, I'm not quite sure what exactly is going on with that, but this is going to pretty much give Xavier an easy sort of, at least an easier race from here until the end in these next 18 laps. Not a whole lot to worry about unless, again, we do see a big pileup and we do see a full course caution. Xavier again making it. If he gets the win tonight and he's able to capture that win, he'd make it 2 in a row. And I'm getting a little bit nervous with the few blinks that I see out of Xavier. I don't want another driver to lose connection if it is the iRacing servers, but every little blink I see is just kind of putting a little bit of a question mark next to. Hopefully they return, but also I don't want to jinx anything. But been a little bit chaotic here these past couple laps. Now, I mean, again, I'm still trying to figure out if there is anything going on, or if it is just an unfortunate set of circumstances that has happened in the last couple laps. But yeah, I mean, pretty much flip-flop the top couple of positions and really allowing Xavier to just continue on with what he's been doing so far. Just click down these laps. He's going to have 16 laps to go when he gets himself back around next time by. Christopher Stange, Landon Burbage, 37 seconds and 53 seconds behind Xavier. That's going to be the lead lap, with only 3 cars being in that lead lap for the time being. And it looks like Joseph Smith was able to get back out on track. He's right behind Xavier currently, right there in that bright orange machine. Right on board with Xavier here for a lap. Just look at how steady those hands are and how smooth his braking points are when going around this track. I mean, when we were riding on board with Smith, he was a little bit not as well handling and not able to keep that car as straight as Regelbrugge is right now. Smith, again, probably not going to be able to go for the race win, but will be able to at least stay in the top 5 unless he has some sort of incident again. And this right here is what the big difference was between him and Smith when they were racing for these top 2 positions. Xavier just looks to be a little bit smoother overall under entry, under exit, through the middle of the apexes, under braking, whatever it may be. Xavier just really a lot smoother overall. And Smith, again, although he's not in contention right now, he can go back as he is right behind him. And you'll see the difference between these two drivers here. Smith, a little bit more aggressive. He is a little bit quicker through some portions of the track, but again, I think it's really coming down to which one of these drivers has been able to save the tires the best overall. And Smith, I mean, you saw it right there, a lot of wheel input, trying to get the car to not slide out too much, just trying to get it to turn, but that's also just in return hurting his drive overall. So Smith, who has been putting a little bit more wheel into it, not as quick as Xavier, who looks to be a little bit smoother. Xavier will have a few slower cars that he has to work through within these next 14 coming to 13 laps in this race, so he will have to deal with some lap traffic. But with the 42-second lead, obviously doesn't need to be super aggressive, doesn't need to overstep any sort of boundaries. As long as he can keep it on track, keep it in one piece, he'll be able to bring it home with the victory. We'll see if Christopher Stange and Landon Burbage can settle that second place. Remember, Burbage had it for a little bit there. Stange took it over. Burbage hasn't really fallen back too far back, but he's definitely lost a little bit of ground to the 29. Xavier coming back to 12 laps to go. Remember, Smith, unfortunately, with those connection issues, now out of the race winning contention unless he does see a caution. And 3 cars currently being displayed behind the wall. The 37 of Michael Badra, the 3 of Vincent Provenanza, Aiden Lucas, in that 34, William Connolly still being shown, at least on pit road. Hasn't completely gone behind the wall, but he is 18 laps down there in that 13th position. Then Kenneth Lowry rounding out the top 10, Cody Blackmore in 9th, Ryan Haller in 8th, Joshua Nunez in 7th, Wyatt McKilson in 6th, John Tiller in 5th, then Joseph Smith, again with those issues, able to hang on to that 4th position, but currently the first car 1 lap down. Landon Burbage in 3rd, Christopher Stange in 2nd, and then race leader Xavier Regelbrugge leading the way out front. A little bit of an issue there for Kenneth Lowry in the 35. Looks like he had some trouble in turn 1 right there, able to get it going, but potentially had come to a stop for a split second. 10 laps to go this time by for Xavier Regelbrugge, looking to make it 2 in a row here. Post-race coverage starts here at the conclusion of the race. On Turn Sector Media, we'll be able to interview at least the top 3 drivers in this race. We'll be able to hear from the race winner and hear his thoughts on the race right now. Looking to be like Xavier, will be working his way into victory lane again. Still 10 laps to go, so a long ways to go, but with the field mostly spread out and not a whole lot going on, I mean, there's really not a whole lot of trouble that could probably happen, but I don't want to jinx it too much. The gap between Stange and Burbage has grown a little bit more. It's about 10 seconds, 11 seconds in that range. So unless Stange has some sort of issues, I think he should be able to hang on to that second place. Burbage, though, I mean, trying to probably do as best as he can to close that gap down on Stange. I also don't think he's going to be too disappointed with a 3rd place finish if he's able to hang on to it here. Another great run so far for Landon Burbage. After starting in decent positioning at the beginning of this race, kind of just been able to hold down that 3rd to 4th place area. Able to gain that spot when Joseph Smith had some of those issues. The 19 of Ryan Haller will be going a lap down here. Or at least the 2nd lap, excuse me, is currently 1 lap down, right in front of the race leader, Xavier Regelbrugge. Oh, 19 with a little bit of tire lockup right there in front of Xavier, although not going to be an issue for Xavier. Remember, he caught him earlier right in this final section. We'll see if maybe Ryan lets him go so he doesn't have to go off track again. Xavier's going to be right over the back bumper of Ryan, maybe giving a little bit of distance. I know when they Ryan off the track through the grass. Able to get slowed down and back on track without causing too much harm on re-entry. Although he is going to go down his 2nd lap now. So now Xavier should have pretty clean track in front of him. It'll be a while until we see another race car in front of him that could be going a lap down. All Xavier has to do is make it around 6.5 more times. 6 laps to go this time for Xavier Regelbrugge, who looks to make it 2 in a row here. Winning the race at Rockingham over Joseph Smith was definitely a statement, and to be able to carry the momentum from last week into this week, and just from all the momentum that he's had for the beginning of this season, would be able to give him huge confidence, I think, and to be able to put a stop to Smith. He was looking to going on a multi-race win streak, putting it to a rest at Rockingham, now trying to go on his own win streak. With these drivers, most of them at least, being able to split it right down the middle on fuel, I don't think any of these drivers will really have any sort of fuel issue. Xavier especially, he was able to make it at that halfway mark, but also with a 47-second lead, if he really needed to save, he could coast as much as he wanted to or needed to. So Xavier, I mean, has nothing to worry about at this point in time, just needs to make it around for these last 5 laps, and he'll be able to come home with the race win. And heading on to Charlotte next week, if he would be able to make it 3 in a row after tonight's race, if he gets the win, it would be definitely a huge early championship pick favorite, probably, but he would be definitely be able to put himself in that contention. And I'm still trying to learn over each one of these guys. Again, it's my first season here with Turn Sector Media in the Redemption iRacing series, so a lot to learn and a lot to unpack as this season goes on. But I mean, the field definitely will have some work to do if they want to put Joseph Smith and Xavier Regelbrugge's winning streaks to rest. Here I'm shutting it off right there. Potentially just trying to save a little bit of fuel just in case he needs to. But again, with the 48-second gap over second place of Christopher Stange, you have the room to really back it up as much as you need to. And without any caution so far, I would be surprised to see one here this late in the race. Could still happen. We've seen it before time and time again when these races start to wind down. You could see a caution that could change the name of the game, but at a road course like this, with everybody who is really spread out for the time being, it would be a decent surprise, a pretty big surprise to see that happen. And Xavier, I mean, has put in an absolutely perfect, or at least near perfect of a race so far tonight. Not shutting it off there, so looks like he'll be plenty fine on the field. Again, probably just saying just a little bit just in case he needed to, but not necessarily needing to this late in the race with how he's been able to manage his fuel and manage the race so far. Xavier is going to see 2 laps to go this time by. Again, just needs at this point to hit qualifying laps. Maybe not as quick as qualifying laps would be, but just really hitting your marks as perfect as you can, not putting yourself in any danger. And it's kind of funny actually, because the more you try and back up the corners and the more you try and be conservative with the racing line, the more mistakes a driver tends to make. I noticed that's what kind of happened with me when you kind of get into a groove and you have a big lead. Not that it really matters too much, but when you start to slow down, you know, your crew chief's telling you, hey, just back it off, we just need to make it around. That's really when you start to question if you're even racing the racetrack right, and it's crazy how that works. But as long as you're able to keep hitting decent lap times and really not backing it up too much to where it will actually affect your lines or yourself out on track, I mean, that's really all you need to do is just hit decent lap times, hit your marks, and continuing on around the track, because Xavier Regelbrugge this time by will see the white flag in hand one more time around here at Portland International Raceway for Xavier. The 40 car of Joshua Nunez right in front. He's 1 lap down so far. I don't think Xavier will push too much of an issue on that 40 of Joshua Nunez to put him 2 laps down, but if he's able to get the opportunity, probably will. Nunez just trying to make it around as well. Looks like he's going to give plenty of space to Xavier, backing up that corner just a bit, pulling out the way of Xavier Regelbrugge, and now Xavier down the long back straightaway one final time. Then he'll work his way through the final set of corners, and he'll find himself capturing the checkered flag and making it 2 in a row. Off the final set of the corners here at Portland International Raceway, down the front straightaway, Xavier with a dominating race so far. He's going to capture the checkered flag and the race win here in tonight's event. Celebrating down the front straightaway. We'll be able to get a moment and a word with him here in just a second. Let's get our race winner in here, and once he joins the chat, I'll drag him up here and we'll be able to speak with him. Xavier, congrats on the race win there. You were able to dominate and go back-to-back here at Portland International Raceway. How good does that race win feel to be able to get it over Joseph Smith and the rest of the field behind you?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, it's great. Two wins in a row, back-to-back. Haven't done that in one league before. I've done it on 2 separate days, one back-to-back, but I've never won back-to-back race weekends in a league. So, you know what? That's good. That's fun. Yeah. You know, pretty standard race. Started from the pole for the 3rd week in a row, which is cool. You know, Joseph did beat me out there a little bit, but I started saving tires better than him towards the end of the stage, and I was able to get back around him. And unfortunately, a couple laps in stage 2, he had, or not internet problems, but his game crashed. So he disconnected. So we couldn't battle it out for the win. And after he disconnected, I was like 30 seconds or something in front of stage. So I was kind of just riding around those last couple laps. But you know what? Good win. Stage 1, pole, most laps led again. You know, maximizing points, just like what I need to be doing right now.
Yeah, and you made a good point right there. We saw the issues with Smith, and you two looked like it was going to be a battle between you two for that top position, and you really looked to be pretty strong on the long runs over Smith, who looks like he had that short run speed, but kind of lost it there in about that 15 to 20 lap mark range, and that's really where you came out to shine. And at a track like this, keeping the rear tires on the race car, I mean, how important is it to do that?
Oh man, well, especially in a car like this, it's very unlike the next gen at road courses, because in the next gen, you could, you know, all you really have to do is save your tires, you'll be fine. You don't usually have to switch your tires out. Let's say if you have a long race on a road course in the next gen, last stop, you usually only take fuel, you don't have to take tires. But in this car, tires matter. You're gonna have to, you know, take tires as often as you would on an oval. So, you know, very different, very crucial to keep the car under you, you know, make sure you don't slide the rears, because those are what wear the most. So yeah, if you do that, you have a pretty good shot to win a race.
And that you definitely were able to do, in giving yourself the shot to go out and win the race, making it 2 in a row here. When you go ahead and look at Charlotte, our next race on the schedule, what is Charlotte like for you? And I know we've seen you really be competitive at these 1.5 mile tracks so far. Is it just another one of these racetracks where you think you're going to be able to go out there and maybe put yourself in victory lane again? Or is there maybe a little bit of something that, I mean, Charlotte is a little bit of a unique track with it having different sets of turns. Is there any difficulty for that track with you?
Charlotte, I'm pretty good at Charlotte. You know, just ran the Coke 600 last week. In another car, obviously, than the next gen, but you know, I'm pretty good at Charlotte. But Joseph, he is right now, as we've seen, he is on a different level at these intermediates. So, you know, the goal is to beat him. I know I could place it in the top 3 if I have a clean race, but you know, the next step is beating Joseph, which is not going to be easy.
And that is right, Joseph Smith always going to be able to probably give whoever is up front a run for their money, especially like you said at these intermediate tracks. Before I let you go, is there any last comments or any shout-outs or any sponsors you'd like to thank or give?
Oh man, well obviously thank you to CHR, thank you to everyone who came out here and raced today, Joseph, Landon, Joshua, all of them. We ran a great race today, kept it clean. You know, want to shout out my family, shout out my grandma, and shout out my aunt if she's watching. I don't know if she is, but I'm gonna assume she is because she's over there right now. Yeah, so shout out to all of them. Shout out to all my friends, and yeah, let's keep this rolling.
Alrighty, Xavier, thank you for taking a minute to speak with us. Congrats on the win here at Portland and going 2 in a row.
Yes, thank you.
That was a race winner, Xavier Regelbrugge. Congrats again to him. I know I just said it, but what a dominating fashion to go out here at a road course of old tracks and be able to put it in victory lane over what looked like it was going to be him versus Smith, and really just came down to which, well, I guess the best of luck between them two, with Smith having issues, but also coming down to which ever those two drivers were going to be able to capitalize on coming out with the pairs. Let's go ahead and come down pit road, and we're standing by with Landon Burbage. Landon, I know it's scoring you in second, although I think Xavier got disqualified there for doing the burnout a little early, but you did, I think, technically come in third place, which is a great finish for you, building off momentum from these last couple of weeks. You've been running inside the top 5 for the majority of these races. Just what more do you think you possibly need, maybe at these road courses or just these tracks in general, to put yourself up in contention, to put yourself in victory lane?
Well, uh, definitely need to stop getting wrecked by lap cars. That's for sure. But I think just saving tire and just being on strategy is kind of the way to go. And just trying to hit your marks and don't try to over push the car. Like just make sure your brake bias is set good. Especially for tracks like this, you don't want to be overcooking the fronts and heating up your brakes too much. So if you feel like you're getting too tight or whatever on entry, back it up a little bit, and the car should set a little bit more. But yeah, all in all, I mean, it was a good race tonight. I'm kind of a little frustrated with Stange because on the beginning of that second run there, I was a lot faster than him, and he just really he wouldn't get out the way. So I kept bumping him, and unfortunately on that last few turns there, I bumped him and got him up the track a little bit, got inside of him, got around him, and it said I had a drive through for the incident warning. So it's unfortunate for that. Other than that, I probably would have finished second, but it's all good. It was a good night.
Yeah, and obviously, definitely not wanting to have incidents like that occur, just not being on your side with the luck tonight for the incident limit. But as tracks like this and just in general, I mean, hitting a mark can be so difficult. And I was kind of talking about it during the race, but road courses especially, there's so many factors that play into it. And I know you can't really take a whole lot over to Charlotte next week, but is there really anything, whether it's coming down to pit stops or maybe, like you said, maybe being a little bit more aggressive with some guys who might not be as willing to get out the way if they notice you have quicker speed? Is there anything that you can take to Charlotte and maybe get yourself in victory lane for that race?
Well, unfortunately, I might not be able to make it next week, but I'll definitely let you know. But yeah, if I were racing or whatever, yeah, I'm definitely going to start being more aggressive to these lap cars because they're kind of getting on my nerves because they should know the rules and the ways of the track and to get out the way. But some of them don't like to listen. But last week was definitely I was very upset that Michael ended up wrecking me because I had a very good chance of finishing the top three. But yeah, I just like Charlotte's one of those tracks you definitely got to hit your marks there and do not burn up your tires because that is a cookie cutter track for sure. It definitely likes to eat up some tires. So I've heard starting on the bottom, kind of working your way up on that track kind of helps. And on the short run, obviously you can push a little bit, but not too hard. That's another one of the brake bias tracks. You got to start braking a little bit earlier on those first few runs to kind of get the tires to settle in, and then you could start pushing at the end. But yeah, all in all, it was a good race tonight, and appreciate everybody watching. My girlfriend, my dad, grandma, grandpa, love all of them, and especially for you for putting up a good broadcast tonight.
Well, I appreciate that, and hopefully we can see you at Charlotte, and you're not, missing it. Before I let you go, though, is there any? I know you just gave a few shout-outs and whatnot, but is there any other sponsors, any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Noah Blackwell for making the paint. Remington Prince for letting me sponsor his towing business, and I think that's it. But if you don't see me next week, you'll definitely see me at Darlington, and I'll be whooping some behind for sure.
Alrighty, Landon. Thanks for taking a minute to speak with us. Hopefully we can see you at Charlotte. If not, the following week.
Thanks, sir. Have a good one.
That was Landon Burbage finishing in that third position. Obviously sounding a little bit disappointed with how that race finished for him, but I mean, it's been a heck of a season for him so far. I know he hasn't been able to get into victory lane quite yet, but he is knocking on the door of getting himself into victory lane, and if he's able to have a little bit better luck on his side again, he talked about Rockingham last week and getting wrecked. We saw him get unfortunately caught up in an incident, none of his doing, just getting caught up in something else, and unfortunately that took him out of that race last week pretty early on. So needing some luck to be on his side, but also looking good at the same time. Let's head on down to Christopher Stange in here. About him, Christopher Stange finishing at what I think is going to technically be updated to a second place finish. Go over a little bit about your night and what Portland looked like for you tonight.
Oh, man. Well, the heck of a race, wasn't it? You'd have told me at the beginning of the season my first podium come at a road course I'd never seen before Wednesday. I'd have called you a liar. But yeah, it wasn't pretty. But yeah, we put it up there in P2, so we'll take it.
Yeah, and P2. Oh, sorry, my mic didn't pick up. P2. I mean, like you say, a great finish, and especially at a road course like this, where I think this is a new track to a lot of drivers, which even to myself, I mean, I don't think I've ever actually turned a lap here, so I can't give a whole lot of feedback on this type of racetrack. But you were able to win the what is it? Trying to think of it, the Clash at the beginning of this season. Yeah.
Yep.
And I know we didn't technically get a top off on that, but a great way to start the season. And really, we've been talking about having maybe momentum carry from that Clash win, which we've seen bits and pieces, haven't really been able to put some races together, but able to come out with a top 3 positioning tonight. What does this do for you carrying over to Charlotte next week and just throughout these next couple of weeks? Does it maybe give you a bit more momentum to, maybe show you that there is some luck on your side, or what does it look like for you?
It feels pretty good. Anytime you can come away on the podium, especially on a track that was, not even on the radar for me. But really, I've had speed every week. Made some mistakes on my own that's cost me. Had some little fender rubs here and there on the track that have cost me. And I think last week or the week before got caught during the green flag pit cycle. And, I had to take a wave around, stuff like that, just typical race stuff. And so, to come out with a second's pretty good. That'll be good momentum going into next week at Charlotte. I should do fairly well at Charlotte. Not too bad of a place for me, but to be honest, looking forward to more of these slipping, sliding short tracks we got coming up. We got Martinsville, we got Darlington. Those are really places I feel like I might be able to go out there and get a win. I don't think anybody was going to hang with the top 3 tonight. They're just lights out everywhere. So for whatever happened to them guys that, gave me from a 5th to a 2nd, I will take it.
Well, thankfully, like you said, sometimes other people have issues and you're able to capitalize on them, even though you don't really want to think about how it happens. Or at least some of those drivers that had the bad luck, don't want to think about what, could have been. You're able to top it off with a P2 finish and able to have the luck on your side. And I can't wait to see and hopefully be able to speak with you for the remaining portion of this season. I know I'm still getting to know a lot of you guys, and I don't really know a whole lot to go off of, but I hopefully can wish you the best in these next couple of races and potentially see you in victory lane. Before I let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank or any shouts you'd like to give?
Yeah, big shout out to Ignite Racing Group and our sister team, Fueled Up Motorsports. And then, of course, Badra Sports Cards, Collectibles, and Diecast on eBay. Y'all go check out his store. He's got some really unique stuff. And Michael Badra himself for sponsoring us and the team for this year. We put a lot of practice in. We help each other out. Shout out to my boy Tiller, got a P5 there too. So we just keep grinding, keep working together as a team. And, we'll see where it stacks up at the end of the season.
Alrighty. Thank you for taking a minute to speak with us, and hopefully we'll be able to speak to you next week at Charlotte.
Sounds good. Really appreciate the broadcast. Thanks to all the fans coming out and checking us out. And, hopefully we get to be good friends here, Oscar. I hope to come back up in this booth often.
I agree with that. I can't wait to hopefully be able to speak with you throughout this season.
Yeah, appreciate you.
That was second place finisher Christopher Stange. Congrats to all those drivers for being able to come out with a podium finish at a difficult racetrack like Portland Raceway here tonight. Obviously, some other drivers not getting the finishes that they probably needed or wanted. Again, one of those drivers being Joseph Smith with those issues with the sim. He's still able to finish fourth, but obviously probably not the finish that he was looking forward to get. Other drivers as well. We'll go down the full results here in just a moment, and we can name some of those drivers here. And again, this is not, we said Xavier did a little bit of a burnout a little too quickly, and I think he got disqualified for that, but I think it'll be updated. I can't manually update it here, unfortunately, but Xavier will be the first place driver. Landon Burbage, Christopher Zangeland, Landon Burbage will round out the top three. Then Smith will finish fourth. John Tiller, fifth, rounding out the top five. Wyatt running in sixth. Joshua Nunez in seventh. Ryan Haller there in eighth. Ryan with a great finish there with another top 10 on his night. Cody Blackmore had a few incidents throughout the night. He's one of those drivers that necessarily kind of, I think, wanted at least to gain a few spots there before the end of this race, but also with those few off-track incidents was able to rebound and not put himself down any more positions than Kenneth Lowry, Daytona winner, rounding out the top 10. Going on to the final page here, Aiden Lucas pulled himself back behind the garage about halfway. He sits 21 laps down in 11th. Then Vincent Provenanza there in 12th, finishing 23 laps down. Then William Connolly finishing 13th, and rounding out the field, Michael Bradra there in the 14th and final position. Well, again, like I said, next week we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway for Memorial Day weekend. That'll be right here on Turn Sector Media. 150 laps will be the total distance there. And then Darlington following that week for another 150 laps. It'll be interesting to see which one of these drivers can put the stop to Joseph Smith and Xavier Regelbrugge if they're able to do so, or see Xavier either make it 3 in a row or potentially see Joseph Smith back in victory lane. We heard some of these drivers say that Smith definitely is going to be a factor next week and the following week. Landon Burbage, I mean, with a P3 finish, I think is going to be able to carry on the momentum and potentially could find himself in another top 3 position. We'll have to see next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway, though, when we get there. Final little things here as well. Make sure you go check out the website. I posted it at the start of this stream. We can post it again here fairly quick. It's fully out now, and I put a lot of work into it so that not only will you be able to keep up with Turn Sector Media news in general, but you can go find your specific league. And I see a little bit of stuttering here with the chat, and hopefully it's not creating too much of an issue. Sorry if it did cause any issues there quick. But yeah, go check out the website. I've made it to allow each league to be displayed, and so there's still some things that I need to finish adding with the standings and results. But once those are fully up and once these drivers are able to make their profiles and customize it themselves, we'll be able to display those for you guys. And I mean, I've tried to put in a lot of work for it so that everybody can get some sort of fun off of it, and it can involve everybody as a driver and as a league. Let's see what else. Yeah, I mean, rounding out here, Xavier with the dominating win here at Portland Raceway on Turn Sector Media. This has been the Redemption iRacing Series, and I hope to see you guys next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Memorial Day weekend. Until then, we hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, night, day, wherever it may be, whenever you may be watching, and hopefully see you back next week.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The afterchecks are lit. Count out anybody who wants it the most.
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving